All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for another Twisted Cape 7:30 extravaganza bonanza, finishing up our March matchups, which if you have not been keeping up with it, it has been ridiculous. And I think it would be a lot of fun to go back and rewatch those. I think we might do that too, add some color commentary at some point. I think that's something
like
we
Mr.
should definitely do.
3000.
Yes, exactly.
Every time I talk, and be like, look at that knob.
Just relive all the heartbreaks, all the laughter. So as we have had for all of our shows, we do have some guests tonight with another on the way. Tricky thing about having people join from different parts of the world is that's a thing that people can't just hop on at the same time. So
time zones.
So we're gonna have a surprise guest popping in at TBD. So guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. And I always like to give you guys an opportunity to plug yourselves. Let us know where we can find you. Let everybody know what you do.
All right, which one is going first?
Go ahead, Wes. Why don't you go first?
All right, I'm Wes from the Console Gaming Crew podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Console Crew, on Instagram and Facebook at Console Gaming Crew. ConsoleGamingCrew.com is another place you can find us. You can hear our podcast on anywhere you find podcasts.
I'm Jared from Punch the Timeline. We are a comic book podcast. Occasionally we throw in some pop culture. You can find us anywhere you find your podcasts. You can find us on Twitter, which we're most active. By we, I mean me. At Timeline Punch, because
Yes,
Punch the
I know
Timeline.
that feel.
Punch the Timeline was one letter too many. So Timeline Punch on Twitter, and we have an Instagram. I'm never on it. So that's us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
So I think
Tell
that
people where they
about.
can find us, Sam. Tell people where they can find us.
Oh, you want me to tell people where? I'm just gonna go ahead and pop something up on the bottom of the screen right here, and they can find us
you
that way.
fancy on me, bro?
There we go. So at the Twisted Cape,
He got tired of saying it over
Facebook
and over
and
and over
Twitter.
again.
You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, all the podcasting places if you want to hear the Twistcast, as well as Mike's Thick Stack. So
Ooh.
keep an eye and an ear out for all of our stuff. Of course, you can always find us, our merch at our TeePublic page, and always check out thetwistedcape.com. All right,
job.
so with that, I think, Mike, we can get started.
Okay, we can. So for tonight, we're going to talk about a couple of sillies, and then we're going to get into the reason that everybody's here in the friggin' first place. So first of all, we got the word this week that the DCU will be all interconnected except for Robert Pattinson's The Batman.
Yeah.
Could you find a way to make this more confusing? Just make it more confusing so that no one knows what's going on.
Yeah, throw in the multiverse and don't explain how they're connected.
Yes. So if they use Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and say that it's in the same universe as Robert Pattinson, and then recast the Joker for the crossover movie.
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
That's how you can make it more confusing.
I don't understand where their logic is. Like, if you want to have the Earth 2 thing, that's fine. But then, like, commit to it and don't just half-ass it.
Exactly.
I agree. Like, one of DC's strengths is the fact that it has a multiverse. We've talked about this before. I just love the idea of you making a mess and then maybe not cleaning it up later. But just, if you're going to make the mess, make the mess. If you're not going to make the mess, then don't make the mess. But they're like, we're going to make a mess. And they halfway clean it up and then go, no, we're not going to make a mess. But like 2 days later, let's make this mess. It's horribly confusing. And it's like, I'm a comic book reader. It's what I do. And to see like this cinematic thing just get so, it doesn't embrace the madness. Like, embrace the madness or don't. And they can't commit to either lane, which is frustrating, I suppose.
But why does it all have to be interconnected? Why can't you just go watch a movie and enjoy it? Because people are going to have their head canon, and they're going to be demanding this cut, and they want this version, and they demand that this character be this. They're movies. Enjoy the movies that you're watching, and then if they happen to connect, cool, but they don't all have to be like, well, Bruce Wayne's second cousin was in this Flash movie, so you know that's the Earth 2 Catwoman. Let it be.
Yeah.
I 100% agree, Jared. Like that's like why like there's no real need. Like if you're just gonna make standalone movies, which they were committed to for like a good 6 months.
They were like, they were committed to it in the sense that they said they were gonna, and then they never did. So is there really any commitment? It's not like they released a movie and was like, "See, told you."
There was a couple of guys in the boardroom. They're like, those Marvel guys connected all their movies. Why aren't we doing this?
So they're thinking about it so far after the fact, when Marvel had it set up that way almost from the jump. It's a completely different situation. Like DC doesn't have to be Marvel. Like they don't have to. Look, we've all talked. Like Mike and I have had these conversations before. Like DC, one of their biggest powers that they can do is the animated run. Their animated movies are leaps and bounds better than anything Marvel has ever done.
I would take it a step further. Probably some of the best animated content out there.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily manga or anime, but yeah, I'd go.
But obviously when it comes down to live action, then yeah, Marvel's going to go ahead and they're going to take that cake because they've been setting this up for 20 years. You know what I mean? They've sown the seed for so long with this. The only thing that hasn't made sense is the X-Men stuff, but they're planning to try to flow that in anyway. So look, we're going to get everything we want from Marvel when it comes down to that fact, but with the DC stuff, like it's confusing. Like Mike said, like, yo, either do it or don't. Like, just the whole thing just they don't need to run it this way. Yeah.
And so we have a comment in from I think Janal. Is Janal Nixon 2.0? Yeah. Okay. So he said this is just more evidence that Warner Brothers DC have no idea what they are doing with the property. And by all accounts, it kind of seems like studio meddling has been the cause of like a lot of the big issues that fans are taking issue with. So do you, and like we are seeing this happen with Sony and Spider-Man 2, like they've just kind of up until Civil War, things were just not going great, and it was because of studio meddling. So do you think that there would be anything different if Warner Brothers somehow relinquished control of the DC properties, and it was just like a DC studio, almost like Marvel has, what I mean, where there's no real big oversights there? Or do you think it would just be more of the same?
I think it would, if you consolidate it under like one vision like they did over at Marvel, then I think yes, it could turn into something really, really good. It's just they're not making that effort to do that, but they still want the success of Marvel, and they're like, I don't know how this is happening.
But wasn't that Jeff Johns' job? And
it was, but they just picked a bad person for that. So pick a better person.
Yeah, Jeff Johns was pretty much like the liaison between like DC and Warner Brothers, and it's just not going well.
Nah.
So we're gonna get into it more tomorrow in the Twist cast that we're gonna record. But Jeff Johns, there's a lot of stuff going on there in that studio that he was a part of, along with Joss Whedon. Like a huge story broke, and I was just like, oh my god! I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
And he needs to fire his publicist.
Oh yeah.
Immediately. I was reading that and I was like, why would you want that included? Like, he's trying to play the I was married to a black woman, so I know black people card. And I'm like, shut up, man. Stop it.
Like, there's a time to shut your mouth, and he didn't learn that. Yeah, you're right. That's a super cringy article. Speaking of releasing cuts, they released the Zemo cut today. on Twitter, and it was delightful. If you don't know what the Zemo cut is, there's a scene in Falcon and Winter Soldier with Baron Zemo dancing in a club, and it's a split second long, and everybody was like, no, there's more to that. We need all of it. And Disney was like, all right, here you go. And it's pretty magical.
You're
I can't
kidding me.
lie. It's
Oh my
one of my
God.
favorite things. So yeah, check that out. Speaking of Disney, they dropped a Loki trailer this week. Have you guys watched it at all?
Yes.
Yep.
No.
No? You watched it? All right, cool. So what was your overall vibe that you got from it? For those who watched it.
I would have to. It had a very like WandaVision feel to me, to where it's like I didn't really know what the hell was happening. You know what I mean? Throughout a lot of it.
That's a good
And
thing.
I mean, Loki isn't something I really know much. You know, when it comes down to like any of the canon they may have went with. Like I've never read any comics that have him in it. So I'm gonna walk into it just like I did with WandaVision, not really knowing much and just kind of like you really seeing what's gonna be in store.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer's nuts. And it raises so many questions.
Oh, no.
And the biggest one kind of I think is because they show kind of like a I don't know, they're in like the headquarters, like the people who like take care of time, you
Mhm.
know, and you see like just reality branching off because of what happened in Endgame, or when he took the Tesseract.
Yeah.
So
There's Bubbles.
so it's like, what is going to be going on here, and how, like, I think it's going to be pretty funny, like more than anything else, because it's essentially Loki getting like, you know, handcuffed and be like, you fucked up, and we're gonna make you fix it because we know you got time, and we also are not gonna let you go anywhere else, so you can come on and help us. Which I think is just like a great setup for a show to have.
Yeah. So to me, like, all right. So first, I'm gonna read Janal's setup. Sam, I don't know if you saw that Bubbles is in. So he said that his vibe on the trailer is that it was bananas. President Loki, DB Cooper, Owen Wilson got my curiosity piqued. Now, see, the thing that I liked about it was it had like almost like elements of like Doctor Who and Quantum Leap, and just like it's like really just offbeat and strange, and it's like it's just so different. It looks so different, and it excites me for the show that I know is only going to be like 6 hours long, kind of like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I feel like I'm gonna want more, and I'm sort of there now already with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know it's not even done yet, but it looks very, very interesting, and just unexplored territory for comic book media, which is what I want. Like, give me, like, branch out. Don't just big ass fight scene and like dumb shit. Like, you can give me that. I like that. That shit's fun. But like, I want creativity. Like, that's why comics are so important to me. So like, yeah, give me more of that. More of that.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
So let's see. I think we got our roster all filled up here.
Yes, we do.
There we go.
And
Yeah. Sorry,
testing.
my technology sucks. So, you know.
So it's all right. So introduce yourself to the peoples and plug your stuff before we jump to the main event.
Me?
Yeah,
this
you. We already
I'm
did
so
it.
excited. I'm so excited. Oh, I missed it. I missed all the fun. Dang it.
It's all right.
All right, what up, people? How are you? Fantastic. It is I, Bubbles, of the Bub and Gobbz show, and it's a show online where, you know, you hear me shout random things like look at that flowing mane!
Looks good. Looks good tonight.
Anyways, are you sick of hearing the same stuff and boring, non-awesome stuff on internet and podcast world time and time and time again? Well, guess what? We're going to add to it with the Bub and Gobbz show, along with, you know, awesome people like Twisted Cape. You can find us at theroguerooster.com. That is theroguerooster.com, where you can find links to our merch and videos and podcasts and everything, and everyone associated with the Rogue Rooster Media Group, LLC. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pornhub, where the
fuck you want to look at stuff, with the hashtag Bub and Gobbz show. That is BUBANDGOBBZ show.
Awesome. Nice job.
LLC.
Well rehearsed.
Yeah.
Let
Damn.
us see.
It's crisp. It's very crisp.
Well, thank
Nice
you.
job.
Thank you. That's the first time I've ever done that. It's usually Gobbz who does that shit.
Yeah, I know. Roll reversal. Okay, so let's get into this. We have run through 64 heroes, top to bottom, starting with Bub and Gobbz, and then Console Crew, and then Punch the Timeline, and then What's Your Spaghetti Policy, and then Terrified and Tipsy. We are down to the big boy, the granddaddy of them all, the slobber knocker, Batman versus Spider-Man. In case you are new to this, which I hope you are, because
Slobber knocker.
check this show out. It's fun. We are voting for who you like better. It's not who can win in a fight. In my opinion, powers beats no powers every time. It's just not fair. But who do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy Batman more? Do you enjoy Spider-Man more? That is what we have brought this entire thing down to for you to make the decision on. So we have guests on tonight to run through this whole thing, and whoever's in the comments, I want you to tell me who you got. So tell me, I want my guests and fellow hosts here to tell me who you pick and why you picked them. I'm going to start with my guys. Jesse, lead us off, buddy.
All right. Well, I mean, if you know the show and have been watching all this stuff up to this point, then I think you know where my allegiances lie. I gotta go with the Bat. Like, above all, his ingenuity, his ability to just like problem solve on the fly, and then he's just amazing. Like, I love Spider-Man. I love him dearly. He's my favorite of the Marvel crew. But I gotta give it to the Bat.
Okay, Sam. Sam, your first of all, Jesse, your vote has been tallied and recorded. Thank you, sir. Sam, let him have it.
All right. Well, Bruce, sorry. Gonna have to go with Petey on this one. Yeah, Spider-Man's always been my guy. Batman, very, 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 very close second, but every time Spider-Man takes the cake.
And this is why we have the guests on, because we knew this was going to happen.
That's true. That's true. So then, in chronological order here, Bubbles, who you got?
Pardon me. Well, 3-year-old me would kick me square in the nuts if I said anyone but Batman. Straight up. I even have a Batman tattoo. I have the bat signal tattooed on my back. So don't get me wrong. I love the wall crawler. I love Spidey. But I gotta go with Batman. Adam West, Batman. You know, to be specific.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go Val Kilmer, Batnipples, Batman.
No. He's a close 7th.
The most sensitive of the Batmans, as Jack Black would put it.
And Gobbz told me to say he votes for Batman too. But,
Cool. Yeah, I got some stuff in from the Spaghetti Boys as well. They unfortunately couldn't make it, so it's all good. Wesley, who you got?
Yeah, I gotta run with the Bat, man. I really do. I have to. Even when you look at it, like, I don't know. I look at where the trauma is, man, and you start trauma at such a young age, like Bruce. Yo, the dude's you gotta follow that, man. He's had a lot of darkness, man. He fights hardwood, so I'm running Batman.
Okay, Wes. Right.
Okay. Good. Sorry, I was reading comments, so let me drop that out there. Janal went Spider-Man. Peter Parker gave us Miles, who he feels is the better Spider-Man. So at present time, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. You love that Spidey, you get that Spidey. Jared, go ahead.
Okay. I thought about this for several days because I've been watching every one of these. I try to cause as much chaos in the comments as I can.
So first of all, thank you for that. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. It's super fun having you guys pop in. It's a good time. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was weighing things, like Spider-Man had this cartoon that I liked when I was a kid. Batman had this cartoon I liked as a kid. Spider-Man on Electric Company. You weigh all these things, and it was really struggling. And then I realized, as I walked into the comic book store, what books I'm buying. And I realized on my podcast, Punch the Timeline, which you can find anywhere on your podcasting platforms, what episodes we're talking about. We're always saying we're not a Batman podcast, but we can't stop talking about Batman. Batman for the win.
I'm really surprised at how one-sided this is.
I knew. I was ready to defend Batman.
I think it would have went a
Spider-Man.
different way if I had given Wes a beer in the beginning.
Worst debate ever.
God damn.
Honestly, I had a feeling that's the way it was going to go. So Batman is our winner. He had already run away with it, as I knew this thing was going to. We knew it was going to happen. So, I mean, I had to resist the ability to throw in counterpoints there. I was like, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. This is not that show. Maybe we'll make that show at some point, but that is not tonight. But yeah, it was really good. It was really fun. I want to say thank you to all you guys and the guys that couldn't be on the show tonight for hopping in. We went from Spidey winning his bracket to Batman winning his, and there were upsets and twists and turns and just ridiculousness the entire way. And I have you guys to thank for that. This has been very fun for me. A lot of work, but enjoyable all the way through. So if you guys want to go ahead and plug your stuff as we go ahead and wrap up, I'd appreciate it. Let's go first.
All right, so once again, Console Gaming Crew podcast. We talk basically all things video games, console based. Newest episode we're gonna be dropping is Sunday. It's gonna be one of our heroes and villains. We're gonna be doing Castlevania.
Ooh.
So it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited. I know next to nothing about it, so the research has made this all the more fun for me.
And then afterwards, you better play it because Castlevania.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I'm definitely gonna jump into it. But yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Console Crew, Instagram, Facebook, which is our ever dying Facebook that we don't talk about because it's like that girlfriend you have that you really don't you kind of ghost a little bit. So I mean that one we don't really talk about too much. But yeah, all those are Console Gaming Crew.
Hey buddy, what about your Twitch?
Oh yes, and our Twitch. We are moving in with hopefully Andy can jump in tomorrow for a Freaky Friday. We're gonna be starting the Blair Witch.
Ooh, okay.
Andy's gonna be playing that in the dark, and it's gonna be fun because it's not me this time. But go ahead and find us on Twitch at CGC Podcast, all one word.
All right. Jared, why don't you go next?
All right. First of all, shout out to Devin and Trent. Say hey to everybody watching out there. Punch the Timeline available on all your podcasting platforms. Timeline Punch on Twitter. Shout out Twisted Cape for all this fun. Shout out Rambling Geek for keeping it crazy on Twitter. Those guys are awesome. Again, Timeline Punch on Twitter, Instagram, I guess, Punch the Timeline, but really just find our damn podcast and hit us up on Twitter. And love this. Can't wait to come back.
Bubbles.
Dudes, thank you for having me on. I'm so sorry I was late because I suck at technology and life in general. Whatever. This has been a blast from start to finish. You can find us at the Bub and Gobbz Show on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Pornhub, whatever the hell you want to listen to. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Bub and Gobbz Show. That is BUBANDGOBBZ Show. You can also find us at theroguerooster.com. That is theroguerooster.com, where we have all kinds of other content, other shows. We even launched our first Rogue Rooster magazine last week and the newest edition of Rogue Rooster News. Yep, we're going to have a lot more content, a lot more guest content. So I'm really excited. Once again, the Bub and Gobbz Show, Rogue Rooster Media. And yeah, I am Bubbles.
Awesome. All right. Well,
yeah,
I think that's about it. And, you know, we plugged our stuff in the beginning. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us for another one of our March matchups, the end of the March matchups. Everybody, can we give a round of applause to Mike Clyburn for getting all this together?
Yeah!
Man,
Actually,
make it more uncomfortable.
Mike!
I have actual applause. There we go. There we go. So, Mike, thank you so much for getting this together. I hope
Yeah, no problem.
everybody watching, you know, if you like this, please give us your feedback. Things that you'd like to see next year. If you have other ideas for contests, we are so game to try anything out. So just let us know. So thank you for joining us.
I'll dig into to whose bracket was closest, and get a prize pack out because I don't remember. My memory is awful. So we'll announce that next week.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And we will see you next week for the live stream. All right. Everybody, stay twisted.
I need photos of Spider-Man.